Hey guys, it's John Moore with the Texas College Football Show. Week 6 countdown. Here we go. Week 5 is over. A slow week. There were only 7 games this week of the 13. There were 6 byes. This is the biggest bye week there was, including at the top of the ticket, where the couple of top teams, a couple of them were off this week. So, but we're getting this week, and most everybody, I think there's only 1 or 2 byes this week, so we're going to have a full slate. Let's look at what we did. There were only 7 games. We were 5-2 in the 7 games. Overall, we are 47-9. I'm 47-9. And this is not picking against the line. This is just straight up. And I know that makes it easier, but I always say it's win or loss. If I pick you to win, you win. If loss, loss. I never shy away from that. Spreads are for betting. And so I do go with point spreads on every game and kind of see if I think they'll cover or not. But overall, it's a win for me if they win the game, and it's a loss for me if I picked them to. It's a win for me if I picked them to win and they win. It's a win for me if I picked them to lose and they lose. So either way, I'm good on what I did. 5-2 overall. I missed 2 games. We'll get into those when we get to them. Let's get to the number 13 as we count down from 13 to 1 in Texas college football. Number 13. Sam Houston. Sam Houston was on a bye week this week after losing to Texas 55-0. They are 0-4 so far. They are 0-0 in Conference USA. So obviously, I don't get a hit or miss there on the TCFS win or loss thing down there at the bottom. I did not. They didn't play, so I didn't pick it. What about this week? This Thursday night. So that's Thursday the 2nd. They are at New Mexico State at 8 p.m. Central Time. They are on CBS Sports Network. Sam Houston is picked to win this game by -1.5 points. They are picked to win it by 1.5. The over/under at 53.5. Now listen. At the beginning, I'm pretty sure on this one that I had Sam Houston. I did. This is the one that I had them winning. I had them winning this game. I do believe Sam Houston will win it. I do believe they'll cover. I was trying to think if this is one of the ones I changed my mind on. By the way, I have the right to do that. Beginning of the season, I'll show you what I did at the beginning of the season. If a team plays this week, and they did, there were 7 of them. I'll show you at the beginning of the year what I predicted, even if I predicted something different for the game week. For this week. I've done that a couple of times now. First one I did was Texas A&M. I thought they were going to I had at the beginning of the season that they were going to lose to Notre Dame. During the Notre Dame game, I picked them to beat Notre Dame, even though I had them to lose early. So in my beginning of the season prediction, I took a loss, but I won that week because I changed my mind, and I have every right to change my mind as we go. Let's go down to number 12. Oh, by the way, 24-20, that's what I've got. Number 12, we've got UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso. The Miners, last week, they lost to Louisiana Tech 30-11. They are 1-4 overall. They are 0-1 in conference play. This was a miss. I actually had UTEP winning this game. This was a pick'em game, kind of as the points went on. I had them winning this game. What did I do at the beginning of the year on this game? Beginning of the year, I had it as a win also. So I picked them to win this game. They lost this game. I did pick them to start out the year the way they were. They did beat UT Martin. I thought they would beat Utah State. I am 3-2 on the season with UTEP. This one being a miss because even though a miss because not only at the beginning of the season, but this week, I thought UTEP had a chance to win this one. And let me tell you what, lots of big things going on at UTEP. Got to be honest with you. Have you guys looked at Malachi Nelson and what he's done? This is the 5-star recruit that started out at USC, ended up going to Boise State. Now he's at UTEP. He's lost the job everywhere. 18 for 38 for 73 yards, 4 interceptions, and he averaged 1.9 yard per pass. Hideous. They brought in Skylar Locklear. That was the guy that we were wondering if he was going to win that job at the beginning of the year. Skylar Locklear was 4 for 6 for 74 yards. He threw a touchdown and an interception. Scotty Walden's got a choice to make down there. Malachi Nelson might have lost that job. I saw some of the Twitter responses going on, and there were some people that were not happy with Malachi Nelson. There may be look, you can have all the talent in the world, but you got to show it when you get on the field, like my Texas Longhorns and Arch Manning, who I think's hopefully coming out of his funk, but 5-star recruit. But He hasn't shown it yet he's shown some of it. He's shown some flashes last week, week before last, when they beat Sam Houston, but that was Sam Houston. Number 11. Let's go to the Rice Owls. Rice Owls lost to Navy 21-13. Overall, they were 3-2, and they're 1-1 in the AC, the American Conference. This was a hit for me. I did have them winning this game or losing this game. This week, they are playing Florida Atlantic University, FAU, at 6 p.m. Central Time on ESPN+. Rice is favored by 3.5 points, and the over-under is 52.5. I think Rice is going to win this game. We'll see if that's an offshoot of what I thought from the beginning of the year. We'll look at it here in just a second. But I've got Rice winning this one 24-21. Let's look at the preseason picks. During the preseason picks, I had them winning at Louisiana, or they beat Louisiana. I had them losing at Louisiana, and I picked every other one, including the losses here. I am going against what I did pick. I picked a loss to University of Florida Atlanta. I am not doing that here. I am saying they're going to win. I'm going off my 10-4 preseason pick against University of Florida Atlanta. I'm going against it now because I do think they are going to end up winning this game. Number 10. Let's go back to Rice real quick. Let's look at some of those stats and what's happened. Chase Jenkins won that job. He's basically a running quarterback, but he does throw some. He threw for 114 yards and 1 TD. He was 12 for 21. He was also one of the leading rushers. Quentin Jackson's kind of been their offensive spark. He's their running back. He had 60 yards, and a 15-yard was a long one. And then Drayden Dickman had 3 catches for 45 yards and averaging 15 yards, and he had a touchdown in that game. They only scored 2 touchdowns. Chase Jenkins scored 1, and so did the wide receiver, which is odd for them. Let's go to number 10. Number 10 last week was a bye for University of Texas San Antonio. They are 2-2 overall, 0-0 in conference play. This is the first conference play right here. They are at Temple. They are playing at noon on Central Daylight Time. They're going to be on ESPN+. UTSA is picked to win this game minus 6.5 points. And they are over under at 58.5. I think that Temple is going to win this game. I have been disappointed in Owen McCown. I think Darian Starling, who covers them, has been a little disappointed. They need to get this thing rolling. There's also some scuttle about a couple of opening head coaching jobs where players are starting to wonder if Jeff Traylor, he's up for, obviously people are saying that he's up for the Oklahoma State job. He might be up for the Arkansas job too. But with all of that being said, I think Temple is not a bad school. I know that UTSA is picked to win this game, and they could go in and do it, but I've got UTSA losing this game 28-27. Let's go to number 9. Number 9, Texas State University. They were on a bye last week, so there'll be no countdown on that. They're 3-1 overall and 0-0 in the Sun Belt Conference. They open Sun Belt Conference play this week at Arkansas State. It's at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's on ESPNU. Texas State is picked to win by 12.5 points and a 64.5 over-under. I think this one is not going to be that close, to tell you the truth. I've got Texas State covering that one 41-24. I do have them barely covering that 64.5 mark on that. I've got them beating Arkansas State 41-24 on this one. So I do like G.J. Kinney. Again, could that be getting into to what's going on with G.J. Kinney there? I don't know. This is I've got that one in there and I shouldn't have. Let's go down to number 8. Number 8 is the Houston Cougars. Last week they beat Oregon State 27-24. They are 4-0 overall. They are 1-0 in Big 12. This was a hit. For me. This week they are hosting Texas Tech at 6 p.m. Central on ESPN. Texas Tech is picked to win this game by 12.5 points. The over-under is 50.5, which seems low to me. I know Houston hasn't scored as much as they would like. Texas Tech has put up a lot of points. This is kind of the first semi-test for Texas Tech. I don't have Texas Tech covering the spread. I do think Texas Tech just has too much. They're going to win this game. But I think it'll be a little closer than we think. Houston has Connor Weigman at quarterback there. He has done relatively well. He hasn't done quite as well as I thought he should. But I do have Texas Tech winning this game 30-20. And at the beginning of the year, if you look at what we did on that, I am 4-4 on this. I had Texas University of Houston coming out and winning their first 4 games. And I did have this one as a loss coming up. So this is keeping to what I had going from the beginning. Number 7, and our biggest riser so far since the beginning of the year, is number 7, and that is the University of North Texas, who is also undefeated. They beat South Alabama 36-22. This was a hit for me. I had them beating South Alabama. They're on a bye this week. So far on them, I am 3-2. I had them beating this game, South Alabama. I think I had them picked to win this game more than they did. I think this was our 5-star pick. Let me go back. I had that up there as a 5-star pick. I believe that was my 5-star pick. It was. No, Navy and Rice. I'm sorry. That's who it was. Let's get back to North Texas, though. North Texas, and people that wonder at 5-0, why do you have North Texas above a couple of schools that have losses? Some of them have 2 losses. Why do you have them above that? I'll tell you why. The teams that are above them, you got 3 teams above them, and we're going to go to those. Actually, you've got 6 teams ahead of them. Every one of the teams ahead of them, I think, could beat them if they played 10 games on a neutral field. I think the other teams would beat them 6 times. That's my feeling. I don't know. We'll see if that changes. I did not expect them to be 5-0 right now. In fact, I thought they would be 3-2 coming into this right now. So they have surprised me. Their offense has always been good, but their defense has really stepped up. And so I'm pretty proud of that. Good for North Texas. And there's an outside chance that this schedule, with the way they are playing, look, they've got a big game at UTSA coming up, that game against Navy, who just beat Rice. I had it as a loss. I think I might change my mind on that depending on what comes on here. They don't play this week, and then they do host University of South Florida. Let's go to number 6. Number 6, the SMU Mustangs. They had a bye this week. They are 2-2 overall, and ACC they haven't played yet. They are hosting Syracuse at 2:30 Central Time at the ACC Network. SMU's picked to win this one by 16.5 points with a 58.5 over-under. I think SMU does not cover, although I do think they beat Syracuse. I think SMU is going to win this game 34-20. That's where I have it. I do not think they'll quite get to that 16.5 spread that they need to win by. That's a lot of points, and that's Syracuse. I think the Syracuse has not been great, but I think that's just a little steep for me. If I was betting on that game, I would probably pull for Syracuse to get within those point spreads, but I think SMU is going to win that game for sure. Let's go to number 5. Number 5 is the Baylor Bears. Baylor beat Oklahoma State 45-27. They are 3-2 overall. They're 1-1 in conference play. That was a hit for me. I did have them winning that game this week. I think that game was just a little closer than I thought it would be, but still, with the Mike Gundy being gone and the interim head coach there, that was pretty easy on that one. Let's go to Kansas. This week, they are hosting Kansas State at 11 a.m. Central Time. It's at ESPN+. Baylor is picked to win this game by 6.5 points, and the over-under on this one is 61.5. I toyed back and forth on this. Look, I thought Kansas State might be a team that could win the Big 12. Now, I wanted Texas school to do that. Right now, the favorite probably looks to be Texas Tech, but Baylor is a good school. And if you look at Baylor and what they did, once again, you got to look at Sawyer Robinson. He threw for 393 yards. He had 4 touchdowns. They rushed for 219 yards, spreading the ball around. He threw for 393. A lot of offense there against Oklahoma State for Baylor. Sawyer Robinson is my Heisman guy right now. Hoover was one that I really had, but I still like Baylor, what they're doing. I do have Baylor winning this. I do have them not covering. I have them winning this game by 6 points, so I don't think they'll cover. That's a little steep with Kansas State for me, but I do have Baylor winning it nonetheless. Let's go to the schedule. What did I have Baylor doing so far? I am 4-1 on Baylor. I did have them losing to SMU. which would have made me 5-0. That's where it turned around for me. A good game against SMU. They won in overtime. That's where I'm sitting right now on them. And I did have them winning, and I do have a loss. Oh, I'm going against it. I had them at the beginning of the season losing to Kansas State. I have them beating Kansas State right now. So I'm probably, if for Baylor fans, you're hoping I get an X right there this next week on that. Number four is TCU. I've left them at number 4. Why do I leave them at number 4? They are 3-1. They're 0-1 in Big 12. Baylor has 2 losses. Right? No, Baylor has 1 loss. I'm sorry. 2 losses. They're 1-1. But the question would be with TCU and Baylor, and where do I think they are? I think right now I favor TCU over Baylor. I think TCU would win on a neutral field 6 times before Baylor would win 6 games if they played 10 times at a neutral field. Right now, I just have TCU doing that. They lost to Arizona State. That went down to the end there. It was a great game for anyone that watched that. That was a miss for me. I had them beating Arizona State, which went against what I thought they would do. At the beginning of the year, I had Arizona State winning this game. I picked TCU to win this game after what I had seen, and they proved me wrong. This week, October 4th, they are hosting Colorado at 6 p.m. Central. It's on Fox. TCU is picked to win this one by 14.5 points and a 58.5 over-under. I have TCU winning that one 31-20. Not only do I have them coming in under the total, but I also have them not covering the 14.5. When you start getting that high up, that's a little bit steep for me. Some of the ones like Texas was favored by 21 or something over UTEP and ended up only winning by 14 by 2 scores. But in a situation like that, on this one on TCU, I think that they will win this game. I think they'll control this game. I just don't know if they're up by 2.5 scores, a little over 2 touchdowns. I just don't see it. What about for the beginning of the year? Like I said, I had ASU as a loss, which is at the beginning of the year, which is good for me, but I did change my mind during the week. I changed my mind and thought TCU was going to win that game. So for the beginning of the season, I'm 3-1, but I am 2-2 on my on what I've picked for them coming into this. Okay, let's go to number 3, Texas Tech. Texas Tech had a bye week this week. They're 4-0 overall. They're 1-0. They have moved up close to the top 10 in the AP poll. This week, they are at Houston at 6 p.m. Central Time. We already went over that. I've got it's on ESPN. Texas Tech is picked to win this one by 12.5, and the over/under is 50.5, which I think is low. Although I have them going under the over at 50.5, this could be a blowout either way. I think 12.5 is a lot to ask. I do think that Texas Tech is a good team. I think they will win this game pretty handily. It may be worse than I think. They may win this by 21 or 24 points. I don't know. But for me, right now, I've got it as a 10-point game, but I do have Texas Tech winning this game. All right, let's go to UT. UT was on a bye this week. They're 3-1 overall. They're 0-0 in the SEC. They open up SEC this week at Florida. It's 2 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be on ESPN. Texas is picked to win this one by 7.5. And the over-under is 44.5. That might be a little high on the over-under. I think Texas is going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty good. I know DJ Lagway may not play, or it may be better for Florida if he doesn't play, depending on what's hampering him right now, because I'm sure Texas is preparing for DJ Lagway in this game. I just think Texas defense is too good. And I think when Texas defense is that good, all Texas has to do is get ahead a little bit, and then Lagway will make some mistakes. He's young. He's a 5-star quarterback. He's good. Looks really good at times. Kind of like Arch. He's good at times. He's bad at times, but he's a good quarterback. I just think eventually, I think Arch came a little bit out of his funk. I'm not ready to say he's back or he's this guy that everybody predicted. I never thought he was that guy everybody predicted. I just thought he was going to be a good quarterback. I didn't think he was I thought it was a little naive to say he was a Heisman guy there. That was a little bit much for me. But I do think that he'll have a good week this week, or a good enough week. That doesn't mean he's going to throw for 4 touchdowns and 400 yards. You can see something like Art's throwing for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then running for a touchdown. And then, the running game, which hopefully Trey Wisner and Baxter are back. We don't know. Baxter had a hamstring issue. He's missed a couple weeks now, and he missed the rest of that game against Sam Houston. Don't know if he'll be back. Trey Wisner hadn't played this year. So getting those guys back opens up the Texas offense, and running the ball really opens up the Texas offense, and we'll see where they go from there. Number 1 and staying number 1 is the Texas A&M Aggies. They beat Auburn 16-10. They are 3-0 overall. They are 0-0 on this one. And for the Texas College Football Show, that was a win. I don't know why I have NA there. I must not have changed that when I was putting all these together. That's a win. I went against protocol, or no, not this week. I went with it. I did think they would beat Auburn, and I had them beating Auburn. It was a sloppy game. Defense was really good for A&M. We've already did it. We did a post-game live show because it was the game of the week. I haven't decided what the game of the week is. This week is probably the Texas and Florida game. Looking at some of these that are coming up, that's probably who I'm going to go with is Texas and Florida, because it's the first SEC play for Texas, and we haven't had them as a game of the week. May do a preview for that a little bit later this week and what I think is going to happen. And then we may go live again. It's something we're kind of toying with, going live after that. But I've got this week, this is a game. Listen. This is a game that this week they are hosting Mississippi State. They play at 6:30 Central Time. They're playing on the SEC Network. A&M is picked by 14.5 points. That's way too much. I'm sorry, it's way too much. Jeff Lebby has this team playing better. The over-under is 58.5 points. I've got A&M winning this game 28-24. Guys, this is the game. If you are an Aggie, this is the game you should be scared of. Everybody just assumes you'll go in. Look, A&M did not play good offense against Auburn. They didn't. You can say, well, Auburn has a good defense. Mississippi State's defense isn't that good. I don't know. What kept, of course, Baylor kind of tapped the brakes. Once they got up a little, A&M kind of tapped the brakes. Once they got up a little bit, they did what Ohio State did to Texas in the first game. It was pretty obvious that Jackson Dart wasn't going to be able to beat them, so they loaded the box and stopped the run and basically held them to nothing. Auburn only had like 205 yards of total offense. Or 200 yards of total offense, something like that. It wasn't even 200 yards. It was crazy bad what the defense did to Auburn. I just don't think they're that good of a team. Mississippi State has shown something this year. You saw what they did to Tennessee. They took Tennessee into overtime. Is A&M a lot better than Tennessee? Or you looking at them and saying A&M is for sure a team that could beat Tennessee on a neutral field right now? I don't know. I would lean that way. I really would lean that way. I do think A&M's probably a better team. But let me tell you what, Mississippi State's got nothing to lose. Now it is at home for A&M, which helps. But I got this game a lot closer than it could be. You have every right to be a little nervous. And if you're not nervous as an Aggie fan, then you're doing what you normally do. You're looking past an opponent and you're looking at what's coming up after that when you go and you host Florida or then you host Arkansas. You should have a pretty easy 3 games possibly coming up, with Florida being the best team, in my opinion. But right now, you don't need to overlook Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby was an offensive genius when he was at Oklahoma. He knows how to get offenses going, and he didn't have his players, and now he's got them. He went into an impossible situation. I'm 3-1 so far from the beginning of the season. What I picked, but you know what? I'm 3-1 because that Notre Dame pick right there. At the beginning of the year, I thought Notre Dame was a loss. I picked it as a win, and I went with the win, and A&M did it. Now they're 4-0 right now, which is good, and which is good for them. They're 4-0. I'm sorry, they should be 4-0, not 3-0. I did not switch that there. I think that this game's going to be closer than we think, and I think that Mississippi State's going to hang with them. Guys, that's it for this one. Maybe try to get a preview in for the game of the week. Try to go live again this week, and maybe, just maybe, I might do something else. I might come in and do something about the Arkansas firing. Sam Pittman's been fired from Arkansas. There are already some Texas college football FBS schools. There are some names being bantered about for that Arkansas job. And Petrino has taken over in the interim, which is kind of hysterical. But, you know, I don't know. There are a couple of names being mentioned already for that Arkansas game. And I'm not going to do that here. I'll do that if we do that. We do a little what could happen on that one. Guys, thanks for this one. Thanks for it every week. Tell your friends about it. Till next time, we will see you at the gridiron.